welcome. You're watching Gravitas with me, Raisha Saigal. Our top focus on the show tonight, we will tell you what is happening on the battlefield. As Russia continues its advance in Kursk and Ukraine is in retreat, the Russian President Vladimir Putin's army is using drones to target and kill retreating Ukrainian soldiers. Also on the show, we will tell you about Pakistan's Friday suicide bombers who are spreading death and havoc in Pakistan. And finally, we will tell you about the language row in India between the central and Tamil Nadu government after the national education policy. The rupee symbol has now become the latest bone of contention. All that and a lot more lined up for you on Gravitas tonight. Let's get you started. Tonight on Gravitas, we bring you the latest facts from the deadly Ukraine battlefield with live footage. Ukraine's headlong retreat is becoming a rout. Putin's army is not just pushing Ukraine out, the Russians are systematically using drones to target and kill retreating Ukrainian soldiers. Just take a look at this video shared by Russia's Ministry of Defense, and that's on its official Telegram handle. It shows Russian drone operators targeting and eliminating Ukrainian troops. The footage captures Russian drones striking enemy forces as they attempted to retreat. And on the ground, Russia continues to push forward. Moscow said it has regained control of 3 key towns and 2 settlements in the Kursk region. On your screens right now, you can see Russian troops marching into the heart of Sudzha, hoisting the Russian national flag. The loss of Sudzha is particularly devastating for Kiev as it further weakens its already fragile defense lines. And the situation keeps getting worse for Ukraine. According to reports in Russian media, a platoon of Ukrainian soldiers redeployed from Kursk to the Donbas region near Pokrovsk. It was destroyed before they could even reach their new positions. Ukrainian forces are reportedly also taking heavy losses while leaving behind key NATO-supplied military equipment near Sudzha. These include armored vehicles and weapons such as American-supplied M1 Abraham tanks, UK-made M777 howitzer, and over 500 vehicles. So the Ukrainian troops are leaving all of this on the battlefield. According to reports, fighting is still ongoing in the outskirts of Sudzha, where Ukrainian soldiers are making last-ditch efforts to break through Russian lines and escape into Ukraine's Sumy region. However, Kiev's forces are wilting, suffering from a severe disadvantage, and that is Russia's dominance in the skies, which has enabled them to target Ukrainian supply routes, further isolating the soldiers who remain trapped in the Kursk region. Ukrainian soldiers who are trying to escape face a long and dangerous journey, walking dozens of kilometers while dodging Russian patrols and airstrikes. Experts from the Institute of the Study of War in Washington report that Russia has now regained about 70% of the land Ukraine seized during its August offensive into Kursk. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Ukrainian forces are now completely surrounded with no escape route left. And the only option for Ukraine's troops were to surrender or face death.
Equipment of Ukrainian forces is completely abandoned. It is impossible to get it out and will remain there. This is already guaranteed. And if in the next few days there will be a physical blockade, no one will be able to get out at all. There will be only two ways: to surrender or die.
According to reports, more than 30,000 Ukrainian soldiers are now trapped in Kursk. The supply lines have been destroyed and the reinforcements are dwindling. Just this week alone, Russian forces have reclaimed at least 23 settlements, clearly undoing much of Ukraine's territorial gains from last year's counter-offensive. While the battle rages on in Kursk, Ukraine has launched another drone attack on Moscow. Well, Russian air defenses intercepted 4 drones heading towards Moscow. However, at least one drone managed to strike a residential building, which was located just 4 kilometers from the Kremlin. And this marks the second drone attack on Moscow by Ukraine this week. Ukrainian drone also struck an oil refinery in Krasnodar region on the shores of the Black Sea, leading to a massive fire and heavy smoke emitting from the refinery. And in the latest, U.S. President Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social platform stating that, and I'm quoting here, "There's very good chance that the war between Russia and Ukraine can end following what Trump said were productive discussions with Putin." Now, the Russia-Ukraine war remains as intense as ever. So the question being, will Russia's relentless attacks lead to further territorial losses? Or can Kyiv somehow check their Russian advance? Or will the war end as Trump has just said? The situation on the ground is changing by the minute. Our next story is about Pakistan. A bomb exploded at a mosque in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, South Waziristan during Friday prayers, injuring 3 people, including Jamaat Ulema-Islam District Chief Abdullah Nadeem. According to local newspaper Dawn, the device used in the blast was an IED. It occurred at 1:45 p.m. at Maulana Abdul Aziz Mosque. The IED was allegedly planted in the mosque's pulpit. The 3 others wounded in the attack are all members of the JUI. They have been identified as Rahmanullah, Mullah Noor and Shah Behran. They were taken to the district hospital for immediate medical assistance. Meanwhile, the Pakistan police launched an investigation into the blast, but attacks on mosques, especially during Friday prayers when a large congregation gathers, is not uncommon in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Just last month, a powerful bomb explosion at a mosque within a pro-Taliban seminary in northwestern Pakistan. The suicide bombing came ahead of the fasting month of Ramzan. The suicide bombing killed a top cleric and 4 other worshippers, wounding dozens of others. Ahead of the fasting month of Ramzan, the slain cleric Haq is the son of Maulana Samiul Haq, also known as the father of the Taliban. He was killed in a knife attack at his home in 2018. Haq's family confirmed he was killed in Friday's attack and appealed to his followers to remain peaceful. Haq was also in charge of the Jamia Haqqaniya seminary, where many Afghan Taliban have studied in the past 2 decades. But such attacks have become a commonplace in Pakistan. In 2023 alone, as many as 101 people, mostly police officers, were killed when a suicide attack targeted a mosque in Peshawar, the capital of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. And a year before that, in 2022, A powerful suicide blast ripped through the crowded Jamia Masjid Kucha-Risaldar. The bomber first killed the policeman and then entered the area to blow himself up inside the main hall. That's where a large number of worshippers were offering Friday prayers. The country has witnessed a surge in attacks in recent years. Pakistani officials blamed the Pakistani Taliban, who are known as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP, for most of the attacks. But TTP has never claimed attacks on mosques, saying it does not target places of worship. The Tehreek-e-Taliban, remember, is an offshoot of the Afghan Taliban. Many TTP leaders and fighters have found sanctuaries and have been living openly in Afghanistan. That's since the Taliban takeover of Kabul, which has also emboldened the Pakistani Taliban. And today's attack, it comes at a time when the Pakistan government is already reeling from the deadly train hijacking by Baloch insurgents. In just a matter of days, the Pakistani government has come to terms with its twin terror problem. Because just a day ago, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif visited Pakistan's southwestern Balochistan province on Thursday, where he met with the survivors of the train attack, as well as the commandos who rescued them. He hailed the forces for rescuing 339 passengers who were taken hostage by Baloch Liberation Army. A total of 25 people were reportedly killed by the attackers. The dead included 21 civilian hostages, the passengers who were on board the Jafar Express, and 4 troops, one of whom was killed during the military's rescue operation. Officials have not provided the number of wounded yet. They say that all of the insurgents were killed.
If we do not eradicate the scourge of terrorism, then the very existence of Pakistan may be in danger. If we did not wipe out the terrorists, then the journey of Pakistan's peace, progress and prosperity that has just begun will immediately come to a halt.
Now, between the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and Baloch separatists, the Pakistani government is facing a twin terror problem. Each of these groups operate with different objectives, but together they are slicing through Pakistan's security, economy and sovereignty. But it's not just the two groups. Pakistan is also under threat from Islamic State Khorasan or ISK and the Afghan Taliban's indirect influence as well. Last year, there was a 45% increase in terrorism-related deaths. Due to these groups, its security forces are now facing unprecedented threats on multiple fronts. No wonder then, Pakistan is the #2 most terror-affected country globally. And this is according to the Global Terror Index 2025 released earlier this month. While Afghan Taliban's reluctance to act against the TTP has emboldened the group, giving it a strategic depth that Pakistani forces struggle to neutralize, the Baloch insurgents' focus is on targeting military personnel and Chinese investments. And this only threatens both Pakistan's security as well as economic projects like CPEC. With the TTP, BLA, ISIS-K and the Taliban all putting the pressure, Pakistan must urgently adapt its counter-terror strategy. Or failure to do so could push the country into deeper instability and even territorial fragmentation. Question is, can Pakistan successfully counter this growing terrorist network? Or has it reached the point of no return? Are we witnessing the death of nuclear disarmament as we knew it? We ask this question because both Poland and Germany are now openly calling for nuclear weapons, a move that could perhaps change the security landscape of Europe forever. Poland's President Andrzej Duda has made it clear he wants American nuclear weapons on Polish soil as a deterrent against Russia. In an interview with the Financial Times, he urged the US to relocate nuclear warheads from Western Europe or even directly from the US to Poland, adding that he recently discussed this idea with Keith Kellogg, who is US President Donald Trump's special envoy for Ukraine. In the interview, Duda said that since NATO expanded eastward in 1999, its nuclear infrastructure should also follow. Now, this demand is bound to trigger alarm bells in Moscow. Russia has repeatedly warned against NATO expansion and military buildups near its borders. If the US agrees to this proposal by Poland, tensions in Eastern Europe are likely to reach a boiling point. And remember, this is not Poland's first move towards greater military strength. Just last month, Duda said in an interview with a Polish channel that if Germany did not want American troops, Poland, in his words, would gladly host them. His comments were a direct response to Germany's Chancellor-in-waiting Friedrich Merz, who had warned that Trump's administration does not prioritize European security and urged the continent to strengthen its own defenses. Meanwhile, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk wants Poland to have access to nuclear weapons and also expand the Polish army to 500,000 soldiers. Last week, Tusk said that Poland is in serious discussions with France about protection under its nuclear umbrella. Duda reportedly supports this backup plan but dismissed the idea of Poland manufacturing its own nuclear arsenal. Meanwhile, it's not just Poland here. Germany has also made similar plans. Friedrich Merz has said that he would want Berlin to engage in talks with France and Britain to share their nuclear capabilities, adding that all these efforts must complement and not replace US nuclear protection in Europe. Now, due to its Second World War history, Germany has bound itself to non-nuclear defense in a number of global treaties. However, it still participates in NATO's nuclear sharing program, which allows it to be involved in nuclear deterrence without possessing its own warheads. So the questions are, number one, will the US respond positively to Poland's nuclear ambitions? And number two, will Germany break from its past and embrace nuclear deterrence? Whatever the outcome is, one thing is certain, Europe stands at the edge of a new nuclear era. Well, our next story in Gravitas is from India. The language row between the central and Tamil Nadu government has escalated once again after national education policy. The rupee symbol has become the latest bone of contention. And meet the man behind the distinctive Devanagari rupee symbol. Udaya Kumar from Tamil Nadu has distanced himself from state government's move. Kumar, a designer from IIT Bombay, designed the rupee symbol 16 years ago as a part of a competition back in 2009. A year later, the rupee symbol was officially introduced by Congress-led UPA government. Kumar hails from a political background. His father, N. Dharmalingam, was a former DMK MLA who represented the Rishi Vandiyam constituency in Tamil Nadu.
I don't have a complete information about the reasons behind their change. Probably the state government has their own ways and views on or reasons to kind of make the changes. So for me, so I designed this 15 years ago, and the central government at that time kind of floated a competition, and I won the competition, and they implemented it, and it's been widely used.
But little did Chief Minister M.K. Stalin-led government knew that the rupee symbol was designed by Tamilian himself. And this has triggered a major political controversy after Tamil Nadu government replaced the Devanagari rupee symbol with a Tamil letter RU, referring to Rubai in the logo for state budget. The move has triggered shared criticism from the opposition. Tamil Nadu BJP President K. Annamalai has called Chief Minister Stalin's decision laughable.
It is not only condemnable, it is laughable. In 2010, a Tamilian, Mr. Uday Kumar, in a nationwide design contest, his design, a combination of Latin and Devanagari script which got selected, And he was appreciated by Kalaignar Karunanidhi, then Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, who called him, appreciated him, did Sanman for him. His son, M.K. Stalinji, who is the current Chief Minister, has found fault with it. 2025, they want to change it because they say we are against Devanagari script. His father accepted it. And this particular symbol, what we are using, the design, that was given by a Tamilian. And I am sure the DMK fellows did not even know it was given by a Tamilian.
So earlier, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also lashed out at Chief Minister Stalin, calling it a secessionist move. Sitharaman's jab comes amid a row between the centre and the Tamil Nadu government over the implementation of the three-language formula under the National Education Policy. In a post on X, Sitharaman has come down heavily on the Chief Minister. She says, and I quote here, replacing of the rupee symbol signalled a dangerous mindset that weakens Indian unity, promoting secessionist sentiments under the pretense of regional pride, and is an example of language and regional chauvinism. The state government, on the other hand, has defended the replacement, saying it is a part of its push against imposition of Hindi. In a post on X, DMK's IT wing shared an image from a 1935 Tamil book showing the use of the Tamil letter for rupee. DMK IT wing wrote, and I quote here, history is a nightmare to ignorance. The Sanghi ecosystem is losing it over Tamil Nadu using the Tamil letter instead of the symbol, as if centuries of Tamil usage are suddenly wrong, unquote. Well, let's now tell you what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. We will get you a story from India, another story where we tell you about the crypto kingpin who was on U.S. Secret Service's most wanted list has been arrested in Kerala. We will also tell you what else is happening in Bangladesh. The country is witnessing troubling rise in cases of rape and assault on women. We ask tonight, what is the Yunus-led government doing to tackle violence against women? And finally, we will tell you how scientists may have found a hack to stop the spread of malaria. All that and a lot more lined up for you. India's top probing agency, the CBI and Kerala police have arrested a Lithuanian national wanted by the United States. We are talking about Alexej Beskov, who is accused of using cryptocurrency exchange Grantex to launder criminal proceeds, including ransomware funds. According to reports, Alexej was attempting to flee India at the time of his arrest. The US, Germany and Finland recently dismantled Granet's online infrastructure, and the US Justice Department announced charges against the two administrators of the exchange last week. Well, CBI in its statement said, and I'm quoting here, on a request submitted by the USA, the Ministry of External Affairs, acting under the Extradition Act, got issued a provisional arrest warrant on March 10, 2025 from Patiala House Court in Delhi. CBI coordinated with Kerala police for the arrest of fugitive criminal Alexej Beskov. According to officials, Beskov is wanted for trial in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia. He is a Russian resident and Lithuanian national. As per U.S. Secret Service documents, according to Reuters, between 2019 and 2025, Beskov allegedly controlled and operated Grantex, enabling the laundering of at least $96 billion in cryptocurrency for transnational criminal groups, including terror organizations and violating sanctions. Will your summer toast come with a tariff? That's what consumers are fearing as US President Donald Trump threatens a 200% duty on European wine, cognac and other alcohol imports. This move comes in response to the European Union's plan to impose tariffs on American whiskey and other U.S. goods next month, which is a retaliation against Trump's 25% tariffs on steel imports that took effect this week. If you think all of this is too overwhelming, imagine being an investor in this climate. The S&P 500 fell more than 10% from its record high last month, officially entering a correction. Investors fear that tougher trade barriers could hurt global supply chains and increase recession risks. Meanwhile, Canada has also announced countermeasures and taken the dispute to the World Trade Organization. Talks between US and Canadian officials have so far failed to reach a resolution. And alcohol has now become a key battleground in this trade war. The EU is planning a 50% tariff on American bourbon. The EU accounted for 40% of US spirits exports in 2023. Meanwhile, Trump's proposed 200% tariff on European alcohol could hit European manufacturers like Pernod, which already is struggling with declining sales due to Chinese trade restrictions. Now, the economic impact is clear. The US accounts for 31% of EU wine and spirits exports, according to Eurostat. Industry leaders on both the sides warn that tariffs could lead to lost sales, job cuts, and shuttered businesses. Retailers in Canada have already pulled American bourbon from their shelves as tensions rise. The trade dispute is fueling economic uncertainty. A Reuters Ipsos poll found that 70% of Americans expect Trump's tariffs to make things expensive. Businesses across industries, from jet to autos, coffee to clothing, are assessing the fallout as supply chains come under pressure. Even Tesla has warned that the tariffs could trigger retaliatory measures against US companies. Despite marketing fluctuations, Trump remains firm in his stance, stating that the US has been ripped off for years and will push ahead with reciprocal tariffs starting April 2nd.
No, look, we've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel or cars, we're not going to bend. We've been ripped off as a country for many, many years. We've been subjected to costs that we shouldn't be subjected to.
Bangladesh has been gripped by fierce demonstrations after an 8-year-old child who was raped in Bangladesh died of her injuries on Thursday. Yes, an 8-year-old child was raped and now she's no more. According to a case filed by her mother, the girl was raped while visiting her sister's house in the city of Magora sometime between the night of 5th March and the following morning. The elder sister's 18-year-old husband, along with his parents and brother, have been arrested and placed on remand. But on Thursday night, after hearing news of the child's death, an angry mob descended on the house where the incident is alleged to have taken place, setting it on fire. She fought hard for her life, spending 6 days in a critical condition at the military hospital in Dhaka, but she succumbed to her injuries. Thousands of people gathered in the public square in Magora for the Islamic funeral prayer before she was laid to rest. As the demonstration swelled on Thursday, Bangladesh police imposed restrictions on all kinds of meetings, rallies and gatherings in key locations for an indefinite period. Areas under restriction include the official residence of Chief Advisor Mohammed Yunus and nearby locations. However, the police is having a hard time to bring the situation under control. The demonstrators have been demanding speedy justice for rape victims, and they're asking for reformed laws that uphold women and children's safety. Demonstrators have also called for greater clarity around the legal definition of what rape is in Bangladesh. How is rape defined in Bangladesh? They say currently the definition of rape is ambiguous. The rape of minors is punishable by death in Bangladesh. As per a law that was passed in 2020, the introduction of that law followed a series of high-profile sexual violence cases, including the brutal gang assault on a 37-year-old woman that was shot and then spread on social media. This has also brought to focus the alleged incompetence of the UNIS-led interim government to curb gender-based violence erupting across the country. You see, less than a week after the rape of that young girl, the 8-year-old child in Magora, media reports from Bangladesh emerged of at least 3 rapes of children of around the same age, but in different parts of Bangladesh. In some cases, the accused were neighbors of the victim, while others were close relatives. As per the Bangladesh International Arbitration Center, 3,438 child rape cases have been filed in Bangladesh in the last 8 years, of which at least 539 of them are under the age of 6, and 933 are between the ages of 7 and 12. But these are just the cases which have been reported. The real number of victims could be much higher, much more. As far as the case of the 8-year-old girl is concerned, the trial of the rape and murder case is expected to begin within the next 7 days. What if I say scientists may have found a hack to stop the spread of malaria? Would you believe me? An international team of scientists are genetically modifying mosquitoes in the hope that they can halt one of the world's deadliest diseases from spreading further. And they are doing so using a unique technology known as gene drive. Basically, scientists at the Imperial College in London, who are a part of the international research group called Transmission Zero, are on to making what can be called a malaria-restrained mosquito that passes on its resistance to future generations. They're doing so by deploying a technique which uses genes taken from the honeybee and the African clawed frog that blocks normal growth of the malaria parasite inside the mosquito. If successful, this could prove to be groundbreaking and revolutionary. And it could even mean a wipeout of the mosquito-borne disease, which means it could save millions of lives, especially in countries where the disease is endemic. As for the World Health Organization or WHO, malaria caused 600,000 deaths in 2023, of which 90% are children under 5. And guess where most of them are from? It's Africa. That's how grave this disease is, which explains why researchers are working day and night to breed these genetically modified mosquitoes in labs. However, it is not without challenges as to ensure the safety and effectiveness of this technology on field. Extensive testing and validation are required. As of now, WHO has endorsed only 2 vaccines against malaria as safe and effective in disease prevention in children. But solution for a larger population, that still remains to be found. The question is, can this breakthrough change that and save a generation exposed to deadly mosquito bites? Well, we sincerely hope so. Shifting our focus now, this Friday, the fashion industry is reeling. Donatella Versace stepping down as the main designer for the Versace brand after almost 3 decades. effectively ending the family's hold over the brand founded by her murdered brother. Fashion experts are calling it the end of an era. Donatella, who was the chief creative officer at Versace, has been its driving force since her brother Gianni, who was the company founder, was gunned down in 1997. And so, tonight, we look at Donatella Versace's life and legacy. This is Gravitas Friday Flavor. Donatella Versace was born on May 2nd, 1955 in Calabria, Italy. Her brother Gianni began his fashion career in 1972. Donatella was studying to become a teacher, but on more occasions she would assist her brother, who valued her insights as he made his start in the fashion industry. In fact, her brother released a Versace perfume, Blonde, in honor of Donatella in 1995. Change came on July 5th, 1997, when Gianni was shot and killed outside his Miami Beach home by American serial killer Andrew Cunanan. Following the highly publicized murder of Gianni Versace, Donatella Versace took on the challenge of carrying on the family empire. Despite having no formal training in design or business, her bold creative vision and distinct personal style helped maintain the Versace legacy, which is associated with some of the most iconic red carpet moments and also pop culture references of the last several decades. Emmanuel Ginsberger, CEO of Versace, has said that Versace is what it is today because of Donatella Versace. Versace has overseen hundreds of fashion campaigns for the Italian brand, also designing hotels and cars. The brand is beloved by jet setters and famous for its Medusa logo. Donatella Versace has dressed some of the world's biggest stars, including Madonna, Beyonce and Lady Gaga. She famously designed the green jungle dress for Jennifer Lopez in 2000 and also Michelle Obama's dress for her 2016 final state dinner.
I think we perhaps knew this moment was coming, so not complete surprise, but it really does mark an end of an era for her, and her presence will be so missed. You can see on social media how adored she is, with huge outpourings from everyone from Jonathan Anderson to Sabrina Carpenter to Gigi Hadid. She really is loved.
On Thursday, Italian designer Donatella announced her plans to step down as the chief creative officer of the luxury fashion powerhouse. In a press release, Capri Holdings Limited, which is the parent company of Versace, announced that Donatella will transition to the role of chief brand ambassador starting on April 1st. They described that position as leading Versace's philanthropic and charitable initiatives and advocating for the brand on a global scale. The move comes amid reports that Prada is moving closer to a deal to buy Versace from Capri, after agreeing to a price of nearly $1.6 billion. Dario Vitale, who was until earlier this year the design and image director at Miu Miu, will take Donatella's role as chief creative officer. But Vitale's appointment is the latest in a series of high-profile designer changes in the industry, as it tries to rebuild its business amid slowing luxury demand in China and inflation-wary shoppers. Earlier this year, Gucci design chief Sabato De Sarno also left the Italian label after less than 2 years in the job. Shifting our focus to Antarctica, where scientists have detected a highly pathogenic avian flu among the birds. Our next report telling you more.
In the cold, remote southernmost point of Earth, scientists have found unprecedented death rates among skuas, a predatory seabird native to Antarctic ecosystems. Skuas scavenge on corpses and predate on other birds. So they are particularly likely to become infected by feeding on infected birds. Scientists have blamed it on the highly pathogenic avian influenza, H5N1. Researchers from Chile uncovered significant skua bird mortality due to the highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1. The study was a collaborative investigation between the Pontifical Catholic University of Chile and the Base Millennium Institute. Their report was released on March 12th, and what they discovered represents the southernmost documented occurrence of the H5N1 virus to date.
The detection of avian flu in Antarctica has raised many concerns among all of us doing Antarctic research because it poses a threat to biodiversity, affecting not only marine birds, but also mammals.
The study, which involved extensive sample collection and laboratory analysis, demonstrates the virus has successfully migrated from South America to Antarctica. It now threatens one of the Earth's most pristine and fragile ecosystems, the Antarctica.
Last year, we found the first positive cases, but didn't observe any mortality. We conducted extensive sampling on the Antarctic Peninsula and around the continent. During the birds' breeding season this year, we observed mortality, mainly in skuas. These species feed on dead animals from the peninsula and can spread the virus to more distant places and other species.
The spread of avian influenza, commonly called bird flu, has ravaged flocks worldwide. As a result, supply chains have been disrupted, which has fueled higher food prices. Its spread to mammals also raised concerns among governments about the risk of human transmission. The highly pathogenic form of H5N1 bird flu has been circulating in Europe, Asia, and Africa since 2020. It has killed many birds and has caused outbreaks on poultry farms in Antarctica in October 2024. Hundreds of king penguins and elephant seal pups were found dead from H5N1. In the sub-Antarctic Crozet and Kerguelen Islands, that means the virus has moved more than halfway around the Antarctic towards Australia and New Zealand, which are the only major countries that remain free of the virus. But now, there's concern that the flu in Antarctica could serve as a springboard to Australia, the only region free of H5N1 in the wild. Scientists are worried. They are expressing concern about the massive range of expansion of the virus. They say by this rate, the virus has the capacity to spread more, and if that happens, it's a catastrophe in the making.
In a troubling discovery, a new study has revealed the Mediterranean Sea, that is known for its beauty, is now Europe's deepest trash dump. Researchers have found plastic waste at the bottom of the Calapso Deep, the sea's deepest point, located over 5,000 meters below the surface. Scientists from the University of Barcelona discovered 167 pieces of trash, mostly plastic, along with metal cans and paper cartons. They said 88% of the waste at the site is plastic, a shocking reality for one of the world's most biologically rich marine ecosystems. Experts are warning that much of this waste floats from coastal areas before sinking to the sea floor. There's also evidence of boats dumping bags of trash into the ocean, leaving behind long trails of waste. Scientists are now calling for global action to reduce waste, improve management systems, and change consumption patterns before the damage becomes irreversible. I have a question for you. Do you sleep soundly at night? If not, you could be a conspiracy theorist in the making. We are not saying it. Researchers from the University of Nottingham are. You see, according to their new study, psychologists have found that people with poor sleep quality were more likely to endorse conspiracy theories, especially after they had watched something sensational before bedtime. But what can conspiracy theories exactly do to your mind? As per experts, they could have pretty serious consequences, including reluctancy towards taking a vaccine, or believing that climate change is not a real thing, or that the earth is flat. Even as more research is required to actually establish the link between poor sleeping and harboring conspiracy theories, scientists think that the root cause could be depression, which, by the way, also plays a role behind lack of quality sleep. You see, the importance of a good night's sleep is quite underrated, even as it is crucial for mental health and proper functioning of the brain. Your brain is the most important organ in your body, and for you to tap its maximum potential, rest and recovery is extremely paramount. Moreover, not sleeping enough increases risks of anxiety and manic episodes as well, which can have damaging effects on your health. The conclusion being, undisturbed sleep for 8 to 9 hours at least is how you can separate fact from fiction and stop letting your mind play games on you. Chinese researchers have achieved a major breakthrough in materials science. A team of scientists at Institute of Physics have manufactured a 2D metal that are 200,000 times thinner than human hair. Imagine a string of single atom. Just to put things in perspective, an atom is 1,000,000 times smaller than the thickest human hair. In scientific terms, true 2D materials are just one or a few atoms thick, roughly 1/1,000,000th the thickness of a paper. The research team melted bismuth at a high temperature and applied a technique called van der Waals squeezing to create the 2D metal. The procedure continues over several hours to form a single atom layer. Chinese scientists have already manufactured 5 types of 2D metals, including tin and lead.
Here's a single atom layer 2D bismuth metal created via our VDW squeezing technique. To observe it clearly, we placed it under an optical microscope, which magnified the sample about 1,000 times. The bismuth is encapsulated by a single layer of molybdenum disulfide, with the darker color indicating the presence of the bismuth metal sample in the middle.
This achievement marks the first successful fabrication of large area 2D metal materials, which have great stability in various environments. All right, stargazers across America, parts of Africa and Europe were treated to a stunning blood moon. A rare total lunar eclipse turned the moon coppery red, leading to a dramatic celestial spectacle. Take a look. And before we slip into a very short break, watch Gravitas Worldview. And before we end the show tonight, here's a look at how India celebrated Holi. And on that note, wishing everyone a very happy Holi.
This week on Inside South Asia, a dramatic incident of a train being taken hostage by the Baloch Liberation Army in Pakistan's Balochistan province. A nightmare come true for 440 passengers who were taken hostage. Is Nepal headed the monarchy way again? There's a definite churn calling for the return of the royal family. And India and the world celebrate the vibrant festival of Holi. All this and much more on Inside South Asia.
Imagine a world where owning your dream asset is just a click away, where wealth is no longer exclusive to the few. Tokenization, the game changer, transforming assets into digital opportunities. A revolutionary technology opening doors to a new era of investment. Don't miss Token Money Magnet, a bold initiative by Kalp Foundation. Only on WION The World.
This week on Check It Out, we take a look at London's phone theft epidemic. We also show you how drones are transforming emergency communication system. And we tell you about a new age technology that is driving the future of connected cars. This and more on WION World is One at these times.
General Brice Oligui Nguema, the strongman of Gabon since the 2023 coup that overthrew the Bongo dynasty, submits his candidacy for the April 2025 presidential election. In a remote Maasai community in Kenya, young girls are learning more than just academics. They are training to stand up for themselves. And a Nigerian mother turns her crochet passion into thriving footwear business. Watch World of Africa at these times on WION World is One.
As the world gears up to celebrate the Festival of Colors, we get you a list of films you can watch on Holi. Find out all about the record-breaking Chinese film Lisa 2. Get a glimpse of the recently concluded Mughal-e-Azam the musical. All this and much more with me, Diksha Bisla, on WION eClub at these times. Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens.